think it's a holiday that sometimes we just bypass. You know, we have had Memorial Day, we're looking forward to 4th of July, and for some reason, we kind of overlook Flag Day. So I thought it was important that we take just a few minutes tonight to talk about Flag Day, and I wanted to give you just a little bit of history about it. Several years ago, we had a Democratic president who was traveling around the world apologizing for America. You remember that? I think there were a bunch of us that got upset. And it was during that time that I realized that if I were still a teacher in the classroom, I could present to my students a unit on pride in America and patriotism. If I were still a principal, I could ask my teachers to do that in the classroom. But as a retired educator, I didn't have the ability to stand before a group of kids and educate them about the flag. And so I really thought about what I could do. So I came up with the idea of writing a book, and it is a book primarily for 4th grade through 7th grade. And the title of the book is The Lost Treasure of Lincoln County. It actually takes place in Lincoln, North Carolina, because that's where my ancestors settled. And one of the other things I wanted to do was talk about an immigrant family who came to America and why they came to America and what it was like when they came to America. And so I just took the story of my family coming to America, and that is included in this book. So I have gone around to schools, and in the classrooms I'm able to present this book. We talk to the kids about flag etiquette. We talk about how to fold a flag, and I invite some students up to the front of the room and I show them how to fold the flag, and they demonstrate that for the group. We talk about veterans. We talk about the sacrifices that the veterans make. And that is the way that I am able to still work with our young folks in school and tell them more about pride in America and patriotism. But really and truly, that should be the responsibility of all of us. It's not just the teacher in the classroom who needs to talk about pride in America and patriotism. It needs to be each one of us. And if you have children or grandchildren, it should be your responsibility to sit down and talk with them about the flag and why it is important. So as I was preparing for tonight, I thought, well, I looked up the information on Flag Day, and I thought, well, shoot, I've got it right here in this book. So I'm going to read to you just a little bit about Flag Day as it's presented in this book. All right, it says, the Stars and Stripes of the American flag originated as a result of a resolution adopted by the Marine Committee of the Second Continental Congress. Folks, that was a long time ago. June 14th, 1777. That's how long Flag Day has been in effect. Now, was it always celebrated? No, it wasn't. The resolution read, resolved that the flag of the United States be 13 stripes, alternate red and white, that the Union be 13 stars, white in a blue field representing a new constellation. Now think about that. The stars on a dark background, and it's representing a constellation. And I think when you stop and you really think about that word constellation, it brings into mind the formation of something that represents something else. We take those constellations and we make figures out of them and we come up with a meaning. And so I thought that was a great word that they chose. The main character in this book is named Jonas. Jonas read the colors on the flag did not have special meanings when the flag was created in 1777, but the colors of the Great Seal of the United States did. The Great Seal has an American flag on it. A man by the name of Charles Thompson said, the white stripe represents purity and innocence. The red represents hardiness and valor. The blue represents the color of the chief with a capital C. The broad band above the stripes represents vigilance, perseverance, and justice. And then the book goes on and talks about things that are proper to do with the flag. And one of the things is a flag burning ceremony. And it talks about how that is to be conducted. It talks about how flags are draped over the coffins of those who served in the military, about half-staff and what that means. And it just goes on and talks about different things about flag etiquette, how you should bring it in when it's raining outside, how it's not to be left outside overnight unless a light is shining on it. Just things like that we want our students to know. And you know, taking your cap off when the flag comes by in a parade, you know, just all the, when the national anthem is being sung, take your cap off, and just all these different things that we want to continue in our society, but folks, they're not going to continue if we don't make an effort to do that for our next generation. So that is my way of contributing to our community and trying to remember that Flag Day is a day that we celebrate. It does have a great history. It is something that as Americans we should be proud of, not that we worship that flag, but we have respect for it, and that it should always be treated with respect. Standing before a group of 4th or 5th graders and telling them this, they are all ears, they are listening, they need to hear this, and they want to hear this. So if you have children or grandchildren and you have an opportunity to talk with them, particularly before the 4th of July, I suggest that you do that, find a way to do that. And I have brought 10 copies of this book if you need a way to sit down and talk with the kids, to read aloud to them. It's a really good story, I think. It's a treasure hunt, and they find a map, and they ask an older gentleman who's a historian of the county to help them in finding the treasure. When they do find the treasure, it is, I'll just tell the news, it is a collection of items that this immigrant family brought with them from Germany when they came to America. And one of them is a diary, and it tells the story of them coming to America. Each of you have your own stories, and those stories need to be told to our families. You know, the oral history is so important. So I encourage you that to find time with our next generations, excuse me, to talk with them, make it important. And these books are available back there. I think I've got 10 of them. And I'm not selling them, but for a donation, you can pick one up. Whatever donation you want to put in there, and it will 100% of whatever is donated tonight will go right back into our club. So that is all that I have to talk about as far as Flag Day. You do have a flag on your chair. Take it home, put it in a prominent place. If you have an office and you want to take it to your office, do that. Do something, and tomorrow talk to somebody about Flag Day. Now,